Hello, I'm Leslie from leslielendon.com. Today I'm going to share the basic instructions on how to make a centre pop-out panel fun fold card. First I'll show you the two that I posted online recently so that you can see what I'm talking about. You'll see them both folded and opened out, and then we'll get on with the instructions and we can get making. Please bear in mind that if you're not in the European market, our card sizes are different. I've taken a sheet of our cardstock, which is what we call A4. It's different to the US and Canadian A4 sizes, but it's just a regular sheet of cardstock from one of the packs. Put it into the trimmer in portrait mode, and you're going to trim it at 14.8 centimetres. You're going to then turn it into landscape, and you're going to trim it at 29.4. Let's just have a look, make sure that's on. You're removing really the smallest little strip there. Okay, keeping it in landscape, you're now going to be scoring. You're going to score at 4.9 centimetres, 9.8 centimetres, 14.7 centimetres and 19.6. So let's just get that done quickly. I'm hoping that you can see on here quite clearly that you've got your 4 score lines. On your left you have the first little panel which measures 4.9. You then have these score lines, and then you have a much wider section here. We're going to keep it on our trimmer and we're going to turn it. Okay, so we're back into portrait mode. We've got our narrowest panel, the 4.9 at the top. We're going to slide it across to 3.5 centimetres. Now, we are going to be cutting from our first score line down to, I don't know if you can see this, let me just turn the camera a little bit. Let me just turn that. We're going to be cutting from the first to the third. I'm going to move this across to make it a bit easier for you. Okay, so I'm going to slide this along to 3.5 centimetres, and I'm going to cut from this score line down to here, to the third score line. Now, that's easy enough to do with our trimmer because we have a little mark on the top of our blade here to show us just where the actual blade is. So we have our first cut line from our first score line to our third score line. We're now going to do that on the other side so that we have parallel cut lines. Okay, so we want to avoid creasing all these lines as much as possible. Sometimes I do get them a bit creased up. We're going to fold this right hand side, the larger panel, over, and then we're going to push on the second score line, push the top and the bottom back and bring the centre forward. So we're going to push those back and bring the centre forward and pull the whole lot across. If you've measured correctly, that should all lay quite nicely, as you can see. Yeah, all measures up. sometimes I do, when I'm being a bit enthusiastic, get crease lines here. It doesn't overly matter because the paper that you're going to cover across here should help support that and keep it flat. But if you can avoid the crease marks here and here, all the better. So that goes across like that. The next thing is to decorate this panel here. Now that you've got your folds completed, all your score lines and your cuts made, you can now decorate this centre panel. The piece of pattern paper, the DSP that you need, is going to be 7.8 in height by 19.6. I tend to cut it just a little fraction over the 19.6 to allow for the folds, just a millimetre or two, and then trim it off at the end. You can use any paper that you want. To be honest, I think it's a great way of using up your retired DSP. So I'll be using the Playful Pets paper. My base card is Flirty Flamingo, and that is one of the colours that is in the paper. So I'll get a piece cut off and glued on, and you'll see how that looks. So here you can see I've now covered the panel in the DSP. I've also cut another piece of DSP to go on the end panel. As I say, I didn't do that on my first card, but I quite like the look of that. And the measurement on this is 9.6 by 14.8 centimetres. So that when that's glued on, just let's put that straight, this will be the effect when the card is closed and when it's opened. Now you can, if you wish, put your sentiment panel here, but if you do that, you really want to have all your writing hidden under this centre part here. You don't really want writing top and bottom. Or you can put your sentiment panel on the back, which is probably what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to finish this card off now. I don't think that I'm going to put a sentiment on it yet. I'm just going to save it until I find the right person to send it to. But let's get this paper on so you can see it finished. So here's the card now with the DSP fully added. As I just said, I'm leaving the sentiment off. I've also cut out this guy because he makes me laugh, and he'll go on here somewhere when I do the sentiment. I'm not going to put the sentiment on until I know who I'm sending the card to. So that's this one. You've seen the two I showed you earlier. And here's the one for class, which is from The Greatest Journey, set of stamps and dies. Hopefully you've understood my instructions and then you'll give it a go. It really is much simpler than it appears. I'm just a bit fumbly on the video today. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Give it a go. See if it could turn out to be one of your favourite fun folds. I'll see you again soon. Bye.